jana bhalabha girivaradhari Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Paramahamsa Parirajakacharya Stotra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parirajakacharya Stotra Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Nama Acharya Sal Haridasa Kaur Ki Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Radha Kunda Shama Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Nabadip Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Ganga Mai Ki Jamuna Mai Ki Tulasi Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Samabheda Bhaktabinda Ki Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the Samadhuvotis Hare Krishna. All glories to the Samadhuvotis Hare Krishna. All glories to the Samadhuvotis Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. So we have been blessed with the association of His Grace Gopal Champu Prabhu. So Gopal Champu Prabhu met devotees in 2014 after reading the Bhagavad Gita as it is. In 2015 he joined ashram. He is a disciple of His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu. He has been distributing books for the last 8 years. He is also the vice president of Radha Govinda Mandir ISKCON New York City. He takes care of all the Maharajas and Srila Prabhupada disciples when they visit the Brooklyn temple. He has a wonderful quality of reading Srila Prabhupada books every day. In the month of Kartik, he comes to Govardhan and participates in reading done by His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu and His Holiness Keshav Bharati Maharaj. He is a good manager and helps in organizing the accommodation and prasadam for all devotees who come for reading. So let us heartily welcome our dear His Grace Gopal Champu Prabhu to the Shri Shri Radharun Chandra Mandir by loudly chanting once Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. His Grace Gopal Champu Prabhu ki jai.
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your nice welcome. And I have to say, I'm also very grateful to be here in ISKCON Pune. I've heard so much over the years, and I've served with so many devotees who have come from the training here. And I'm very happy to say that every one of my interactions with them have been completely blissful. And yeah, coming here, I just have to say I'm very grateful to His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, His Holiness Radhanath Swami, and of course our dear Srila Prabhupada, who have created these tirthas, really, these places where, and it's amazing. The place I hadn't known about the campus. I mean, I have known about it, but I had never seen it. So just coming here has been a very nice experience, and I can see how this is really a transcendental oasis. Because as soon as I stepped onto the campus, I've noticed that my chanting has become much better, my hearing, and it's because of the vibration of the devotees here. It's definitely perceivable. So, I've been asked to speak by His Grace Sri Gopal Prabhu, so just to serve him, I'm sitting up here. And we're continuing to read here from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, which is entitled Prescribed Duties for Mankind. And we're in chapter 15, which is entitled Narada and Angira Instruct King Chittaketu. And we're looking at text 8 today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Nasta Preshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki Krishne Swadhamo Bhagate Dharma Jnana Divisaha Kalauna Samrisamesa Purana Kodhuno Ditaha. So today's text is number 8. Deha Dehi Vibhagoyam Aviveka Krita Pura Jati Vyakti Vibhagoyam Yata Vastuni Kalpitaha Deha Dehi Vibhagoyam Aviveka Krita Pura Jati Vyakti Vibhagoyam Yata Vastuni Kalpita Deha Dehi Vibhagoyam Aviveka Krita Pura Jati Vyakti Vibhagoyam Yata vastuni kalpita. Please repeat. Dehi dehi vibhagoyam. Pura Yati Yati Bhavoyam Davastu Nikalpita. Matajis. Deha Dehi Vibhagoyam Yata Vastuni Ma. One more. Deha Dehi Vibhagoyam Aviveka Krita Pura Jati Vyakti Vibhagoyam Yata Vastuni Kalpita. Word for word. Deha, of this body. Dehi, and the proprietor of the body. Vibhagaha, the division. Ayam, this. Aviveka, from ignorance. Kritaha, made. Pura, from time immemorial. Jati, of the class or caste. Vyakti, and the individual. Vibhagaha, division. Ayam, this. Yata, just as. Vastuni, in the original object. Kalpita, imagined. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. Divisions of generalization and specification, such as nationality and individuality, are the imaginations of persons who are not advanced in knowledge. Purport. Actually, there are two energies, material and spiritual. Both of them are ever existing because they are emanations from the eternal truth, the Supreme Lord. Because the individual soul, the individual living entity, has desired to act in forgetfulness of his original identity since time immemorial. He is accepting different positions in material bodies and being designated according to many divisions of nationality, community, society, species, and so on. Om Anghyanatimirandasya Ghananjana Shalakaya Chachurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadhati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Gurau Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Tam Sajivam Sabhetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamshta He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachanam Bangulangayate Girim Yakripatamaham Bande Shigurum Nirataranam Deha Dehi Vibhago Yam Aviveka Krita Pura Jati Bhyakti Vibhago Yam Yatta Vastuni Kalpita. Divisions of generalization and specification, such as nationality and individuality, are the imaginations of persons who are not advanced in knowledge. Aviveka, in the word for word, Prabhupada translate that, from ignorance. So, this is actually the great disease that the living entities are suffering from, avidya, which is ignorance of their actual position of being an eternal servant of Krishna. And we see in this pastime, Chittaketu Maharaj is also suffering from avidya. And we know the pastime, of course, in his previous life. This is now describing the previous life of Vitrasura, because Parikshit Maharaj was bewildered. How can such a demon be such a great devotee? So when he inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, then Sukadeva Goswami proceeded to then narrate the story of Maharaj Chittaketu. And Maharaj Chittaketu, he was approached by Angira Rishi. And at that time, the first time Angira Rishi had approached Maharaj Chittaketu, Angira Rishi had understood by his physiognomy, reading Maharaj Chittaketu, that he was not ready to receive this higher knowledge that he was about to then reveal to him in this 15th chapter. Why? Because he was so caught up, his mind was completely absorbed in wanting to have a son. And Angiri Rishi blessed him. He said, okay, you will have a son, but his name will be Harsha Shoka. He will cause lamentation and happiness. But anyway, Chittaketu was so happy because he said, okay, and now I have a son, now my desires will be fulfilled. But as we see later on what happened, the wives of Chittaketu, who were not blessed with a son, became envious, and they proceeded to murder the son. They poisoned him, they murdered him. And then of course, this son, who was a great source of happiness for Maharaj Chittaketu, then became his greatest source of lamentation. And it's amazing to hear the descriptions the Bhagavatam is giving on how he fell at the feet of his son, and he was just crying and lamenting, oh my son, where have you gone? We see such a great king, and how much suffering can be caused in this material world by avidya. And Angira Rishi then pointed this out to him. Now when Maharaj Chittaketu was open to receiving the instruction, after his material desire had been fulfilled, now he was open. He was in a distressed condition. As Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, 4 types of people who come towards him. One he mentions is distress. So as soon as Chittaketu was such in distressed condition, then his ears were open to receiving spiritual instruction. And the instruction that's coming here is, you are not the body. So this is actually the main, you can say, one of the main entanglements of the conditioned soul is thinking that I am this body. I am these 8 material elements composed of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. But yet Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita that no, this is not who you are. Actually, you are an eternal spirit soul that's of a different nature, superior to these lower material qualities. So, there's a few different points that come up here, and we see how Maharaj Chittiketu, he was lamenting for the loss of his son. Now I'd like to maybe focus on that for a second. How, yes, we have this philosophy, we are not the body. And we are beyond, you can say, these bodily relationships of mother and son and husband and wife and brother and sister, etc., etc. But at the same time, it does not mean that the Vaishnavas are cold-hearted and they don't, in sometimes situations where we do have the loss of a loved one, it isn't that we just say, oh, anyway, he's not the body. Why are you guys crying? What's your problem? No, we even see that in Krishna. When Satyajit, his father-in-law, left his body when he was murdered, Prabhupada writes in the Krishna book that he lamented like an ordinary human being. Now you think, oh, why is Krishna lamenting like an ordinary human being? Because there's some relationship there. Some Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Gonita, Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ki Jai. So because there is some relationship there, one feels the loss. And so sometimes, or it's okay to feel, okay, I've lost this person and grieve. And at the same time, understanding the knowledge, one doesn't remain in that grief-stricken situation. One then understands, okay, this is just an eternal spiritual being. I was connected with him in this lifetime, in this capacity, and now they've gone on to a different situation. So actually, in the higher sense, yes, this is no longer my son, or this is no longer my friend, or this is no longer, etc., my husband or wife. But this is an eternal spiritual being who's a servant of Krishna. So, so we see that Krishna gave that example. That, one does not just become callous, but some lamentation can be there. But of course, this avidya is very, very prominent in the material world. And we see here in the word for word, Prabhupada is translating jati as of the class or caste. And this is something Srila Prabhupada was heavily criticized for by the, you could say, jati Goswamis of Vrindavan. I was just hearing in class this morning where Srila Prabhupada was saying, this is in 1972, and Vrindavan Prabhupada gave these wonderful lectures, the Nectar Devotion Series talks. And Prabhupada was saying in the class that just this morning, one Goswami was criticizing me. And he was saying, how have you turned these Malechas and Yavanas into Vaishnavas? It is not possible. And Prabhupada say, and I tell them they're fools because they don't understand the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They don't understand the instructions of Sri Rupa Goswami and Sri Sanatana Goswami. That any person, no matter where they're from, even if they're raised as a dog eater, they can become a Vaishnava. Because a Vaishnava is not determined by just a birth. No, a Vaishnava is determined by his quality. And what is that quality? Is that they've taken up the process of devotional service. And by taking up the process of devotional service, the heart becomes purified. And we can see in the example of Srila Prabhupada's disciples. Srila Prabhupada came to the Western world. And what, you could say, what juxtaposed, situation could Prabhupada have? And going into a situation on the Lower East Side of New York where the people were born, you could say, in the land of the Malechas, meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, and intoxication. Before breakfast, they already had broken these 4 regular principles. So it's amazing how Prabhupada, we see the power of a Vaishnava. It's said that the power of Vaishnava is told by how many people he can convert to Vaishnavas. So we can see that Prabhupada actually is the proper person deserving this title, Jagat Guru, because he is the Guru for the entire universe. And we can see Srila Prabhupada, by his books, by his disciples, continues to convert people who are of the lowest class. I can say for myself, I probably am still in Malacha, but I was a first class Malacha, Pakka Yavana. You know, I was all these things, eating meat, gambling, illicit sex, intoxication. It was like the way of life, is what you know in the West. I grew up in New York. So this is what you know. This is like they advertise it everywhere, on TV, in school. It's like, you know, they indoctrinate you to understand these things, to like living this way is okay. And actually living this way will make you happy. So this is what is propounded. But when I came in contact with Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, I can say my life was transformed. When I heard in there, Dehino spinyata dehe kaumaram jovanam jara tatta deyatra prapti dhira tatta namuyati. You're actually not this body. You are transforming from birth to youth to old age. And a sober person does not lament when the body is changed. So I was always contemplating. This contemplation was there when I was young. What is death? Maybe it's some mystical thing. But the Bhagavad Gita made it very clear. And Srila Prabhupada's purport made it even clearer. That the purpose of human life is to serve Krishna. I hadn't heard of Krishna. I had never seen Bhagavad Gita. I had never even seen Sanskrit in my life. But because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, I can say, because I've come in touch with a touchstone, and because I've taken shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, now I'm also on the correct path to becoming a Vaishnava. Not there yet, but please bless me that I can continue on the path. So, we see in this story also another point that comes up in this particular pastime is the power of the association with the Lord's devotees. In this particular case, we're seeing how Tritaketu Maharaj is coming in contact with Narada Muni and Angita Rishi. And because of that association, he's able to be uplifted out of the ignorance, the avidya that he was in. And Narada Muni is such a shining example of a topmost Vaishnava. And we see throughout the Shastras and many different examples how Narada Muni converted people to pure devotional service just by his association. So maybe I can ask if devotees can think of any examples in which specifically Narada Muni we see, because he's so prominent, he's converted people into Vaishnavism or made them into Vaishnavas just by his association. Can anybody think of some examples? Yes, Ru? Is there another mic? He says Mrigarhi the hunter. Okay. Prahlad Maharaj, yes. Amazing example. Dhruva Maharaj, yes. In Govardhan, we just read the entire 4th canto in 20 days. So we were relishing the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj. And Dhruva Maharaj became such a great Vaishnava that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it's mentioned that Gadadhar Pandit would read hundreds and hundreds of times the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he would relish them. And also the gopis were also relishing the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj. So what a great exalted Vaishnava Dhruva Maharaj became because of the association of Narada Muni. Can we think of any other examples? Chaitanya Maharaj, yes.
Prachetas.
The Prachetas as well, yes. And a couple more that came to mind were the Haryashvas and the Savalashvas. Right? Amazing how Narada Muni, we're talking to these, how much was it, 10,000 or 100,000? 10,000 first, then 1,000. Yeah, so the Haryashvas were 10,000. And he convinced them to remain all brahmachari or Daksha wanted them to become Prajapatis. Narada Muni convinced them to stay brahmacharis. And then again, he did it to the Sabalashvas. Daksha had another 1,000 sons. And again, he convinced them. He said, you should follow the path of your brothers. And that's where Narada Muni received the curse from Daksha. I curse you that you will not be able to stay in one place for more than 3 days. And you will have to be constantly moving. And Srila Prabhupada said in his commentary on this particular verse, that similarly, the parents of my disciples have cursed me. That's why I'm not able to stay in one place for more than 3 days. I have to constantly remain moving. So we hear in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lava Matra, Sadhu Sange, Savas Siddhi Hoy. That just by 1/11th of a second of association with a pure devotee, one can be converted and become a pure devotee oneself. So why is this? Why is this that devotees, and when they come in association with such pure devotees, get transformed? It is because the Vaishnavas, the pure devotees, are carrying Krishna in their heart. So they act just like a touchstone. As soon as they come in contact with any jiva, becomes a devotee. And so this is the potency of the pure devotees. And this is actual jiva doya. I very much like that this is the name of your Sankirtan department, the Jiva Doya department. Because this is actually mercy or compassion to the fallen conditioned soul, is to remind them of their eternal position as an eternal servant to Krishna. And this is actually the greatest welfare work. This is why the Vaishnavas' hearts are burning with compassion. In the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, is describing why this is the mentality, this is the heart of the Vaishnavas. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to post this verse on his wall, and he would look at it every day. Should I tell you the verse? Yeah? Do you want to hear it? It comes in the 11th canto, 9th chapter, verse number 29. It's one of my favorite verses. I try to recite it daily. And it says, Labhasu dhulabhamidham bahusambhavante manusyam artadhamma nityam api hadira turnam yathetana pathit anumrittu yavanisha yasaya visaya kalusa vatsatsya. You were in Salem before? Yeah. I recognize you from Salem. You used to do Pujari service there. Yeah. Yes, we went to the farm. I was seeing, I was like, I recognize this devotee. Okay. So this verse, and I'll just read the English translation just so we can understand that this is the mentality of the Vaishnavas. Their heart is burning with this understanding. So it says here, after many, many births and deaths, one achieves a rare human form of life, which although temporary affords one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Thus a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life, as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for a human being. So the Vaishnava Acharyas, the great devotees, their heart is burning because they understand this, that these living entities have now achieved the human form of life. And if they don't engage in Krishna consciousness, their destination is unknown. They have no idea where they're going to take birth next. And so they're lamenting. They're thinking, no, please take up the names of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Take up the holy names of Krishna. And we see Srila Prabhupada had this very same mood. In his song, Krishna Dhabe Punya Habe Bhai, in one line he says, Tahale Ananda Hai Tabe Hoi Digvijay Chaitanyera Kripe Astisai Maya Dusta Jate Dhuki Jagate Saibar Suki Vaishnavera Icha Punahai. He says, as the vast mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu conquers all directions, a flood of transcendental ecstasy will certainly cover the land. When all the sinful, miserable living entities become happy, the Vaishnava's desire is then fulfilled. So this is what the Vaishnavas are meditating on. And so this is the opportunity we have now, as followers of Srila Prabhupada, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We've been given this order has come down on our head from Srila Prabhupada, and we can see it written on the walls, literally. Srila Prabhupada so much desired that his books be distributed. He says here, if he buys one book, his life may be turned. That is the best preaching. So because Srila Prabhupada's books give Atma Tattva, they help the living entity understand that I am eternal servant of Krishna. I am not a servant of Maya. I am not this temporary material body, and I'm not meant to enjoy in this material world, but I'm meant to serve Krishna eternally. So I saw a poster saying that the Juhu Marathon officially started yesterday. And so, of course, I'm so much praying and desiring that your marathon is fully successful. And I'm only here for a couple more days, but I'd like to participate. So if any devotees afterwards can tell me how they can take me out on book distribution today and tomorrow, I'd happily like to come and participate, at least contribute one book if I can. On my way here from Juhu, well, I was in Juhu Wednesday morning, then I went to Chaupati, then from Chaupati I took a train to Pune. And on the train I was hearing and chanting the whole way. There was one family sitting diagonal to me. And I was chanting, hearing and chanting the whole way, listening to lectures. And then as the train approached Juhu station, I started chanting out loud. At that point I already had read and chanted, and so I started I started chanting. And then one lady approached, she came over and said, ISKCON? You're at ISKCON? And I said, yes. She said, where are you from? And I said, I'm from America. And she looked at me like, really? And I said, yes. And I said, and she said, and you practice this? I said, of course. And I said, because our guru, Srila Prabhupada, he taught me. And so immediately I pulled out a book. So this is an important point. Always carry a book on you, because Lord Chaitanya will always make an arrangement, even if you just have one book. If you can do nothing else but at least carry one book on you, Lord Chaitanya will make an arrangement and one soul will come to you asking for a book, I promise. And so I pulled out the book, I put it in her hand. And she said, oh. She turned it over. And then her son looked at it. Oh, Prabhupada, yes. I did my master's in London. I have been to the Soho temple. And I was thinking, so ironic, because Prabhupada, they wanted to send him to London for education. And Prabhupada's father was like, no, I don't want to go there. I don't want my son to go there. But again, yeah, so I just thought it was interesting. He said, I've been to London for my master's. I've been to the Soho temple. Anyway, they took the book and they gave a donation, and she happily walked away. Another experience I had, and this goes to the mercy of Srila Prabhupada's books. On my way to Vrindavan from Delhi, the driver, he asked me the same question, where are you from? I said, I'm from New York. He said, you've been to Vrindavan before? I said, this is my 5th time coming to Vrindavan. And he said, oh. And he said, why are you going to Vrindavan? I asked him, how many times have you been to Vrindavan? He said, twice. So I thought, my God, he lives in Delhi and he's only been to Vrindavan twice in his life. And I just started thinking, this is the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. That such a low-class person as myself has come all the way from New York to go to Vrindavan, because Srila Prabhupada has revealed the Dham to us. Actually, only by the mercy of the spiritual master are the Dhams revealed. So this is the opportunity we have to give others the opportunity to understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna, the holy Dhams, and their mercy. And before coming here, my spiritual master made a video for the Pune devotees, so I'd like to share the video with all of you. Just the audio I can share now. With the video we'll send soon. One devotee had written to me, I don't know, one devotee from Pune had written to me to get a video of my Guru Maharaj. And so, let's see here, I'll pull it up and I'll play the audio for you guys. Some encouragement for the marathon. I can just put it here.
Dear devotees from ISKCON Pune, my favorite temple in the whole world. Dear devotees from ISKCON Pune, I'm praying for your success in the upcoming marathon. Krishna book is comprehensive. It's the book that saved ISKCON. It's the first mass big book that Prabhupada created. It's got pictures of the spiritual world. Everyone will benefit from reading Krishna book. Kids love it, adults love it, pundits love it. Everyone loves Krishna book because everyone loves Krishna. They just don't know who he is. Let's distribute Krishna books in mass quantities. Pune has the best leadership. Pune has organization. Pune has all the devotees with heart and soul. You can do this, make a big goal, and really work hard like Dhruva Maharaj, and you can smash your goals and astound the world. What to speak of, please Srila Prabhupada, and make a huge dent in Maya. What to speak of smashing a hole in Maya by distributing mass quantities of Srila Prabhupada's books. Go for it. We're praying for your success. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear devotees. Now, if there's any questions or comments, I think we have 9 minutes. Yes, Prabhu, in the back. Someone take it. Prabhu, in the back. All the way in the back.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for such a wonderful class. Prabhuji, as you were saying in the class, that generally people who take birth in foreign countries, they have been habituated to break all the 4 rigs. Today we have such a wonderful Vaishnava sitting in the class, giving a class. So you can please tell me what are the transformations that happened in your life, which you took up this Krishna consciousness. And also I know that you're wonderful, one of the best book distributor in the US. So you also can share some of the experience, how you felt that, the connection towards Prabhupada.
So in my life, I guess the main thing is definitely reading Prabhupada's books. I received the Bhagavad Gita before I even met devotees. I was reading different books, and I got in a book that mentioned Bhagavad Gita in it. So I went online, and when I searched Bhagavad Gita, the first one that came up was Bhagavad Gita as it is, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And so I bought the copy. Of course, it came to my house. It was a big edition like this in America we have, but it was a bigger copy. And I looked at it. It looked very funny, strange, Sanskrit. I was like, okay, what is this? I don't know. So I put it in the corner of my room. For 4 months, I didn't touch it. And then in December of 2014, some distressful situation came into my life. And so I started, I was really thinking, I just started thinking, what is the point of life? I was thinking, tomorrow I can die, and then what is the point of everything? And so the only thought that came into my mind after these thoughts came was go home and read Bhagavad Gita. I couldn't think anything. I was thinking, why go home and read? I couldn't think of it. I don't know why. Okay, I was like, anyway, whatever. So I go home and I read Bhagavad Gita. So when I started reading it, I was just blown away. And many devotees have this experience. It's like an aha moment, like the light bulb goes off in a dark room. And so I started feeling like, yes, this is the philosophy that I want to follow. And then I had the desire to visit a temple. So over the next couple of months, I read the Gita cover to cover almost 3 times. And then in February of 2015, I thought, okay, I really want to go to a temple. But I thought, okay, I'm not following the 4 regs yet. I have to follow the 4 regs before I can step foot in the temple. And so I went on a trip with some coworkers. At that time, I was working as a car salesman full-time. And I went up to this state called Vermont. And we went on this thing called snowmobiling. So there's basically like a motorcycle that rides in the snow. And then we went to one brewery and we ordered beer, and I thought, this is the last time I will drink beer. I drank and that's it. After that day, I have not touched alcohol ever again. This was February 4, 2015. And then the following week, I was thinking, okay, I have to give a smoking marijuana. And I read in Prabhupada's purport, in the 3rd chapter, I forget which verse exactly, either verse 24, one of those verses, he mentions that pseudo-spiritualists tried to imitate Lord Shiva by smoking ganja. So I thought, I don't want to be a pseudo-spiritualist, I want to be real. So I thought, okay, I have to give up ganja. So I rolled one joint, one ganja cigarette, and I thought, okay, this is the last one I will smoke. That was the last one, February 11, 2015. So this is progressing by week. 4th, 11th. So after that day, then I was following the 4 regs. In America, there's a semen retention movement. So for about a year, I had been celibate. And then gambling isn't, at least for most people, it isn't really such a big issue. So then finally, February 18th came, and I thought, okay, I'm following all 4 regs, I can visit the temple. And I went to Shishi Radha Govinda Mandir for the first time in February 18th, 2015. And yeah, according to the solar calendar, this is also Lord Chaitanya's birthday. So I thought even more mercy is coming. So yeah, that's how I came. And the second part of the question was, a book experience distributing Prabhupada's books. Yeah, it's amazing. In the West, of course, there's a lot of purification distributing books. Because, as I mentioned, so many people are just habituated to these things. And what happens is, as one Maharaj once told me, he said, when you're performing Harinam and book distribution, when people come in contact with you, they'll react towards you in the way they feel about Krishna. So of course the people in the West are trying to forget Krishna so much, so when they come in contact with devotees, that's how they treat them. Get out of here, what are you doing? Get out of my face. I don't want to see you, but it's like, I'm just meeting you for the first time. But because inherently they feel that way towards Krishna, they'll react that way towards the devotees. But yeah, I can say there has been no greater joy in my life than just reading Prabhupada's books. And the thing is, you feel so connected to Srila Prabhupada. You see how Prabhupada so much emphasized book distribution. And so I can say that by doing this service, everywhere I go, I feel protected. So I've distributed books everywhere in the US. I distributed books some places in India as well. And it's always the same experience. You just feel blissful distributing Prabhupada's books. And yeah, I've had some mystical experiences. One time, I was on there used to be this tour called the Warp Tour, where for many years devotees distributed, lakhs of books on this tour. It ended in 2019, the tour, but it used to be a rock tour, and they would travel all over the US, putting on concerts. And so the devotees had a VIP pass, and they can follow the tour and distribute books at the different concerts. So one time I was in Massachusetts. So just to give you a geographical makeup, maybe Massachusetts, it's like being it's like being in Vrindavan, in the sense of geography. And then I distributed a book to this one boy, and he was like, wow, this is so amazing. And then the following year, so whole year later went by, I went on this Warp Tour, and then this time I was in Utah. So Utah is like being in Chowpatty. So that difference in space. And I was on this Warp Tour, and again I stopped this one boy, and he said, hey, I met you last year. You distributed a book to me, Science of Self-Realization. Yeah, I remember, it's so good, it changed my life. So like this, we can see that these are ticking time bombs. And sometimes we may distribute a book, and because sometimes people may say, what are the effects of all these books going out? But actually we don't know. Like Prabhupada says here, if he buys one book, his life may be turned. That is the breast preaching work. So Prabhupada will often say, just by reading one line, his life will be eternally benefited. And hey, one line, one word. Even if they don't read one word, they just touch the book, their life is eternally benefited. So yeah, we can have that experience time and time again if we're there to put books in people's hands. We'll have these realizations. Okay. It's 9 o'clock. Should we stop now? Oh, 9:10. Okay, so we can take some more questions. Yes, sir. Practically. So, yeah, there's 4 laws of book distribution. Does everyone know the 4 laws? No? Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to tell them to you now, and then when my Guru Maharaj comes in 1 month, because he's supposed to be coming next month, and you can tell him we learned the 4 laws of book distribution. He said. So, first one is strong sadhana. So your sadhana must be strong. If we don't have strong sadhana, with what are we going to go and approach people with? My Guru Maharaj would say that when we're distributing the overflow. So we ourselves must first chant the holy names attentively. We must ourselves first read the books. Because by doing the sadhana, then we develop the conviction that this process and these books are absolutely necessary, that they will absolutely change the hearts of whoever comes in contact with them, because we can see how it happened for us. So it's very practical. You can see it happen to me, so it can happen for anyone else. Especially if it happened to me, it can happen for anyone else. Then the other one is, the next law is, that's the third law. Get books, yes, get books, because they did what's the biggest university here in Pune? Pune University. This is the biggest university. So they did actually a study a few years ago in Pune University, and it was a very intricate scientific study. And the study was, how many books will you distribute if you don't bring any out? Do you know the conclusion of that study? 0 books. If you don't bring any books, 0 books you'll distribute. It was just a joke, but it wasn't so funny anyway. And so, so get books. And I noticed around the campus there's many books. So I know that's not a problem for all you all. You have many books. Third law is, the more you sow, the more you sell. So we've had this experience that tying books up in sets and stacks and giving them to people. It's definitely an effective way to have people take multiple books. And my Guru Maharaj always talks about one example of Vijay Prabhu, who was the minister for book distribution. They were distributing books at Rath Yatra. And Vijay Prabhu, he was everyone who was approaching, and first he would show Bhagavad Gita, and they would say, I already have this. He said, okay, no problem. And then he would show them Bhagavatam. And my Guru Maharaj thought, what, is this going to work? Just show Bhagavatam to everyone? And so he started doubting, actually. My Guru Maharaj explains. He started doubting. He said, I don't think this is going to work. He said, but then some time went by and he looked, and then the Bhagavatam set was gone. He said, what happened? He said, someone bought it. Vijay said, someone bought it. He said, and he realized, okay, the more you show them, you just keep showing it, keep showing it. And eventually you'll find someone who wants to take the full set of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the fourth law is, you must organize. So if we're not organized in our endeavors to carry books out, now there's so many things behind that go to carry books to a certain location. Like in New York, we had come up with, when we were distributing books, we're still distributing books in the subways. And we came up with one, we had one trolley wrapped with bungee cords with these plastic crates that would also protect the books from rain. Because we noticed if you take out the cardboard box and it starts to rain all of a sudden, then books are finished. But if you put them in these plastic, they're protected from the rain. You can distribute. If it's not favorable weather, even the books are still protected. So different things like this. Getting vans, organizing traveling parties, which spots to go to. This is all part of organization. So with an organized effort, we can also increase book distribution. Srila Prabhupada mentioned to Giriraj Maharaj, not in the specific sense of book distribution, but it can also be applied to book distribution, was how does the movement continue after your departure and expand? And Srila Prabhupada replied, organization and intelligence. So same thing we can say about book distribution. How will it continue? How will it expand? It takes organization and intelligence to do. So these are the 4 laws of book distribution. Hare Krishna. Any other questions, comments, reflections? Anything heard in the class that you take away with you? No? Okay, so we'll finish here then. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution Marathon ki, Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripasindhubhyaivacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namah, Nantakoti Vaishnavin.
नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानं यशोदाभियोलोकलाधवमानं परामृष्टमत्यन्तत्रोदुद्रुतव्या रुदन्तं मुहुर्नेत्रयुग्मं मृजन्तं कराम्भोजयुग्मेन साटङ्कनेत्रम्
नेत्रं युग्मं मृजन्तं कराम्भोजयुग्मेन साटङ्कनेत्रम्
मुहुर्श्वासकम्पात्रिरेखाककण्ठ स्थितग्रेव दामोदर भक्तिबाधम्
मुहुश्वासकम्पात्रिरेखाककण्ठ स्थितग्रेव दामोदरं भक्तिबाधम्
इति दृक्सलीलाभिरानन्दकुण्डे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तमाक्षपयन्तम्
इति दृक्सलीलाभिरानन्दकुण्डे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तमाक्षपयन्तम्
तदीयेषु तज्ञेषु भक्तिर्जितात्वं पुनः प्रेमतास्तं सतावृत्ति वन्दे
तदीयेषु तज्ञेषु भक्तिर्जितत्वं पुनः प्रेमतस्तं शतावृत्ति वन्दे
वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षं बधीवा न चाने वृणेऽहं वरे सदपिह
वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षवतिं वा न चान्यं वृणेऽहं वरे सदपिह
इदं ते वपुर्नाथ गोपालबालं सदा मे मनस्याभिराष्टं कियन्ने
इदं ते वपुर्नाथ गोपालबालं सदा मे मनस्याविरास्तं किमन्ये
इदं ते वपुर्नाथ गोपालबालं सदा मे मनस्याभिराष्टं कियन्ने
इदं ते वपुर्नाथ गोपालबालं सदा मे मनस्याविरास्तं किमन्ये
इदं ते मुखाम्बोजवत्यन्तनीले वृतं कुन्तले स्निग्धरक्तश्च गोप्या
इदं ते मुखाम्भोजम् अत्यन्तनीले वृतं कुन्तले स्निग्धरक्तश्च गोप्या
मुहुश्चोम्बितं बिम्बरक्ताधरं मे मनस्याभिराष्टं अलं लक्षलाभे
मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बरक्तधरं मे मनस्याविरास्थं अलं लक्षलाभे
नमो देवदामोदर अनन्त विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखजलाब्धिमग्नं
नमो देव दामोदरानन्द विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःखजालभिमग्नम्
कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्यातिदीनं बतानो गृहाणे समामागये दक्षिदृश्य
कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्यातिदीनं बतानो गृहाणे समामग्नमेदकृष्य
कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्यातिदीनं बतानो गृहाणे समामागये दक्षिदृश्य
कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्यातिदीनं बतानो गृहाणे समामग्नमेदकृष्य
कुबेरात्मजो बाधमृत्यैवजाद्वा त्वया मोचितो भक्तिभाजो कृतो च
कुबेरात्मजो बाधमृत्यैवजाद्वा त्वया मोचितो भक्तिभाजो कृतो च
तथा प्रेम भक्ति स्वकाङ्मय प्रयाच न मोक्षे गृहो मे श्रीदामोदरेह
तथा प्रेम भक्तिं सकाम्य प्रयच्छ न मोक्षे ग्रहो मे स्थिदामुदरेह
नमस्ते स्तुदाम्ने स्फुरादीप्तिधाम्ने त्वदीयोदरायात विश्वस्य धाम्ने
नमस्ते सुदाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोदरायात विश्वस्य धाम्ने
नमो राधिकाये त्वदीयप्रियाये नमोऽनन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं
नमो राधिकाये त्वदीयप्रियाये नमो नन्दलीलाय देवय तुभ्यम्
नमो राधिकायै त्वदीयप्रियाये नमोऽनन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं
नमो राधिकाये त्वदीयप्रियाये नमो नन्दलीलाय देवय तुभ्यम्
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe.
Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radhe.
Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radha Vrindavan Chandra Shri Radhe.